is a pain in the butt. You hit your ball in the trees and then you lip out the putt. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us, 'cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, your weekly in-depth dive into this wonderful game and the world in which it inhabits. Now, today we have a very special guest. We are joined by not only Jacob, a regular co-host of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, but by Mr. David Barwise, the brand manager here at Finch Golf Media, and just an all-around good chap. And he's agreed to slide onto the end of the table and bestow his wisdom on the golfing world.
Yeah, try and plug the gap of enthusiasm left by Kieran and Mick.
Yes, which I'm sure you will do.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are the most enthusiastic man that I know, called David, at this table. So, mate, I think we're going to absolutely smash it. We've got loads of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of stuff going on in the world of golf, a few things coming up in the future, and potentially my death. So, yeah, there's that coming up, which is fun.
So stay tuned.
So stay tuned for how that's going to happen. Might happen. Should probably be a little bit more positive about this. But we will start with a different place than usual. Like normally we cover the big men's professional golf events, the ones we're most familiar with. But this week we had the Seniors Open at Royal Porthcawl, which is a beautiful course on the Welsh coast, which I've not actually been down to yet. I've spoken to them about getting down, but the Seniors Open took place there, and the weather was interesting. Did you boys actually watch any of it?
Not tons. I can't lie to you. I saw all the snippets of things I think I needed to see. It was a very, very interesting.
What did you need to see?
The weather.
Oh, okay.
How incredibly difficult those conditions were. Them chopping it out of rough. Those poor boys. Those 60-year-old men with their terrible backs, having to hack it out of that.
They're athletes nowadays.
That's true, yeah.
They're a lot more healthier than they used to be. David, did you delve into the Seniors Open?
I saw the highlights package off the back of it, and it was very much a case of, like, if you can get the ball back in play, then it's worthy of being in the highlights package. So, yeah, it was like a war of attrition in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's very few. In fact, to be honest, I can't actually remember a single professional golf event that I've seen in the last, years I've been alive, where the entire leaderboard on the last day was over par.
It's maybe Brooks's win at Shinnecock.
I'm trying to think. Was the 2007 Masters, like the one that Zach won, because it was a washout?
Yeah, that was close as well, wasn't it?
I think that might have been the last major that I can remember watching that finished with such terrible scoring.
This is like what the US Open wants to be in the men's game, isn't it? But
kind of, but it wasn't so much. So the course down, one of the reasons I really like watching it, for a start, this is a golf course which is pretty famous within the UK. Like, a lot of people know about it, but it hardly ever has hosted like a professional televised event. I'm sure it has done in the past, but not one that I've seen before. So to actually kind of see the course and to see what it was like was cool. I don't know if it was maybe the best advertisement for people to go play there.
No.
Because
it's probably not what they were hoping for.
Yeah, because like the US Open, like, for example, really wants to be tough because the course is really tough, the way they set it up. Like, you can't trick up a links course, obviously, but like a lot of links courses, certainly for Opens, are pretty much as nature intends them to be. You know, they don't do anything too crazy about them to them. But the weather that came in, especially on that Sunday, I mean, it wasn't great all week, but the weather that came in on Sunday was grim.
Yeah, it made for quite the final day, which, I mean, unfortunately I didn't watch as much as I'd like to, but the guys who you were kind of assuming to be at the top, obviously Harrington was in a playoff eventually in the end. The younger guys coming to the top, I guess. I don't know.
the young bucks of the seed.
Exactly, yeah. No, it was a very interesting watch to see what was going on. And as you say, for Royal Porthcawl, a course that I don't know much about. I don't think many people know much about, especially as a Royal. You know, you'd think it would be one that people would be particularly interested in. I know my dad's played it as well. He came back after playing it on a lovely sunny day, which is obviously very different to what it was on Sunday. And he said that it was not only enjoyable, but actually could be quite scoreable, which it wasn't on the Sunday.
No, it wasn't. I mean, to put it in perspective, friend of the channel and just absolutely legendary golfer Colin Montgomery shot an 88 on the last round.
Even his silky swing couldn't get him round.
Yeah, his wind-silked swing wasn't even able to cope with what was blowing in off the coast.
Elongating his hitting zones.
It was
Through
not
the rough.
It was not a day to elongate any hitting zones there. Alex Shaker went on to win in a playoff over Padraig Harrington, who is, I don't know. I want to put this in the right way. It seems to me like it could be a little bit unfair him playing on this
Right,
tour
okay.
against these guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I was watching him at the Open on the range, and he was pounding it. Like we're talking 180 plus ball speed.
What's the entrance for the senior tour? What's the age?
It's just over 50 now, I think.
Over 50.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, what's the bus pass? Is that 55?
Well,
Your free bus pass.
Well, you know, controversial subject here in the UK. It's going up all the time. Ugh.
We'll get into that.
Don't get anything anymore.
But true. I mean, you look at like the top 10 though. We've still got Bernard Langer hanging around as well. In fact, that's the one thing I'd say about that. Like everyone on that leaderboard, it's a leaderboard full of thinkers, people who have great temperament and people who are going to hang around. I think like Checker, he seems to be like the epitome of that. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily what they were looking to test this week. Like who can make the fewest stupid decisions, but almost play major championship golf in the way that sort of, maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but like Brooks Koepka would, in that he never really goes for anything particularly difficult. He just like makes lots of smart decisions and like see who they can outlast. Yeah,
I mean, I suppose in case of what Pete was saying with Harrington and how hard he still hits it, how quick he still hits it, the way that these senior events are set up, he could certainly dominate the courses that they're sort of providing. Look at me like that for.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I mean, distance wins. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Distance always wins at the end of the day.
That's something we've been spouting about all year. It's no different on the senior, on the ladies, on the PGA, on the Corn Ferry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously Brian Harmon, like last week, came on, slapped that notion in the face. But generally, across the course of the season, the players who hit it the furthest are the ones that are the most successful.
I suppose around an open venue when it's nice weather, the distance stuff kind of goes out the picture. I remember he hit like a 280 drive and got 78 yards of roll or something and took it into a 350, which for Brian Harmon, he must have been like, looking at his watch like, what the hell is going on here?
Welcome to Links.
Rangefindering back to the tee, like, it can't be that far.
Yeah, we had Alex Shaker, Harrington, obviously, Vijay Singh, Philip Archer, who was...
He plays on the Blank tour, doesn't he?
Yeah, when I was doing the PJ North Region tour and kind of playing on that, he was literally the bane of my life.
I've never met him, and I remember when I went to go film all the events that you would be playing in, and we'd get back, and I know him because I'd see his name at the top of the leaderboard every time.
Honestly, it was so annoying because you'd go around and like you shoot like 2-3 under, you'd be like, you know what, it would stand a chance, but unfortunately, Philip Archer was playing in this event. Yeah, so he's going to win it because he was one of the guys when I shot my when I shot 63 at the Leeds Cup on the last day, and I knew
you sat and waited all day.
And I knew I wasn't going to win. I knew it. I just knew I wasn't going to win. But the more people came in, I was still up there. But like Phil Archer was in the last group, and I'm like, what is the point of me hanging around? Because I just know that he's going to shoot couple under par, beat me by 3, and yeah, he did.
That's what happened.
Obviously, he did. Philip Price, remember him? Wow.
No.
What? You don't remember Philip Price?
No.
So let me set the scene.
Okay.
You got Ryder Cup at the Belfry.
Okay.
Right. You got Phil Mickelson.
All right.
In his absolute pomp. Going into the last day, it's tight. Drawn against Phil Mickelson, legendary left-handed golfer from the USA, one of the greatest players of all time, was drawn Phil Price. The plucky,
Phil.
the plucky Welshman, probably about world, I don't know, 80th at that point. And Phil Price dominated.
Did he?
Phil Mickelson.
What did he do?
Just wiped him off the course.
Like 8 and 7.
No, that was Monty against, was it Scott Hoke? I think in the first group. Like, it was one of those where it was. I think everyone now knows that if you front load the singles with strong players, we'll talk about Ryder Cup today, it's a better advantage because you get the momentum going. And they sent Monty out in the first match against Scott Hoke, and he literally beat him about 8 and 7.
Love it.
And he just got the ball rolling. And then Phil Price beat Phil Mickelson, and apparently that's all he was saying when he had a few beers at that night. That's all he was saying. He just kept going around to people.
I've beaten Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, he kept going around to people and like going into groups, like swinging his arms around people. Just say, "Tell him more, Pete. Tell him more, Pete." Apparently, I wasn't there. I was like 8. So yeah, the crowd at Portugal, considering what the weather was like, it was really, really well attended. Like some hardy folks down there.
I suppose like once an event gets down to that part of the world, they want to see what's going on, I guess.
But it's great as well because you can see so many great players who are still playing like really good golf.
True, yeah.
Like to go around...
Yeah, some legends, isn't there?
Yeah. To go around that course in like getting the playoff with Shaker and Harrington was 5 over. In that course, in those conditions, is unreal. Like it was absolutely horrendous. It really was. If you've not watched any of the highlights, please do. Oh, man.
Was it Bernard Langer in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. David doesn't like Bernard Langer either.
Well,
You don't like Bernard Langer?
Hates him.
look,
Ooh.
I have a lot of time for the man. I have a limited amount of time for his putter and his putting stroke.
Yeah, that's not something that's gone unnoticed before, is it? It's something that people aren't massive fans about.
Yeah, well, for me, it's a case of, look, if the rules allow him to put the way that he's putting, which is like not anchoring, but anchoring adjacent,
Yeah, sure.
let's say,
Yeah.
then he's absolutely fine to do it, but they've got to change that rule. It's just completely unfair. They need to surely, like, if you, like, because there's a limit on, like, club length, on driver length, right? Surely they should extend that to, like, putters as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you use the word extend? Non-ironically, then.
That is also
that was
true.
very good. I appreciate that. I mean, the rules officials have looked at him, David, and said he's not anchoring. I mean, I did walk in on you once watching highlights, and I think you said he's cheating the game and the integrity of our sport. Is I think were the exact words you used.
Is that right? Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like 90%.
you might not remember it, but
Yeah, you might.
you definitely said it.
You might not remember it. Yeah, I might not remember it if it's exactly real, but something like that.
But I mean, like, even if you look at like different rules, and someone will get a drop that realistically doesn't feel like it's within the spirit of the game, people tend to call that out, and I
Sure.
think that's exactly the same thing that's happening here.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right. I think he's been doing it for a while now, hasn't he? So he's obviously been going on for a little bit, but I mean, maybe he just keeps it in the bag for when he takes a drop and he wants a little bit of extra room to just go
That's true.
2 club lengths.
Is it a case? We keep calling the seniors tour. Seniors tour is called Legends Tour, and it's not seniors tour anymore, but we'll encompass everybody into the seniors golf category for this question.
Well, you 50-year-olds,
Yeah. Is it a case that because he's been doing it for a while and everybody knows like an old timer who just does stuff their own way, and you're kind of like, it's just Bob.
That's what he does.
It's just what he does, and you just leave him to it. Has Langer kind of reached that stage where he's kind of gone past the point where people can go up to him and say, Bernard, I think we can clearly see the back of your thumb is jamming into your sternum. Please stop. Or has he just got to the point where it's like, it's Bernard. He's all right.
Maybe a bit.
I don't want to be the rules official that goes up to him and says,
That's it.
I've noticed something.
Okay, so here's the scenario now, David. Okay. You are now an official, rules official.
Oh my.
And your first assignment is you're sent to a seniors tour event. And you have a wander over, politely strolling around the fairways. And the first group you get to is Bernard Langer and he's over a 3-footer. And he's, that the line on his shirt is suspiciously creased around his chest.
Okay.
What do you do?
If I see him breaking the rules, then I march right up to the next rules official and say, "Could you go have a word with him?"
Get some more authoritative figure over here.
Yeah.
Can I have
backup.
my lead official over here, please?
I need some backup to tackle Bernard Langer.
Because if it was a case of like, there's like, if you had like a local rule or a rule for like that league, like if you're over the age of, like if you're playing in the senior open or another senior major, you're allowed to anchor. That's fine, but he's just breaking the rule.
Hey, listen, I just want to put this out there as well. I actually don't mind anchoring.
I was going to say
it doesn't bother me at all.
As a man who has gone through quite a few putter changes and also different variations, you've had a arm lock putter.
About everything.
You've had it all. Would you contemplate a little bit of that, or?
I have tried broom handle putter. So
yeah.
Just to put this in context, if you're not quite sure what we're talking about, you very many different versions of putters of different lengths. Generally, you'll have a standard length putter. You can have an arm lock putter, which the shaft leans against your lead forearm. If you cooches, he's resting against the trail forearm.
Bryson-esque.
No apparent reason. But it's up the lead arm. You press it into that, and it kind of holds everything steady. And then broom handles, which you hold with your left hand. If you're a right-hander, you put your right hand halfway down the shaft, and you rock it like a pendulum.
I suppose Adam Scott is the kind of sort of more known on PGA Tour.
And what the anchoring ban stopped, it stopped things like belly putters, which had a shaft which you just like basically stuck in your midriff, and that anchored the club to your body. And broom handles were banned, so you can't put it against your chest or you can't stick it on your chin. That's also anchoring. So what Langer does is he kind of holds his left forearm really tight against his chest, kind of pops the club just away from his body a little bit, and then just rocks it back and forth with the right hand. So he's kind of anchoring his arm to his body, but not the club. Well,
right.
Unless you're David and you just think he's anchoring it. But for me, honestly, I don't, because there's no difference for me between like arm lock putters where you're pressing the club against your forearm. That is anchoring. There's no doubt about that. But it don't bother me. I don't really see how it's an issue. Golf's hard enough. If people are struggling with a putting, fine. Use a broom handle, anchor it, do whatever you want.
Okay.
Belly putter. Cool.
Fair enough. I mean, I reckon if anchoring was still like in that way was still allowed, I would have less of an issue with it. Even though I still don't feel that it's in the spirit of the game. It just there were some people who were anchoring and then had to switch back to a more conventional style of putting because they didn't want to get into any trouble and they didn't want to kind of fly in the face of the rules. And there are some people who are trying to get as close as they can to anchoring. I feel like I've said the word anchoring a lot, by the way. But yeah, I don't know.
Without actually doing it.
I just think if they were to go back and change this rule again, they should change the equipment and not the kind of method of it.
Yeah, I think you're right as far as like if they really wanted to change it, it should be you can have a maximum length of putter of this, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you could get some funky strokes, I think, out of that. Some people be like leaning 90 degrees over with it on their chest or something. Or...
Just imagine it. But yeah, honestly, don't bother me. Bring it back. Love anchoring.
Do you know what I'd like to see? You could get rid of that, and then I mean, I didn't watch enough of it to know, but I'd love to see on the senior tour, those tees where they all like stick on the same bit of rope. That's what I want to see.
Wow, you're going full on.
Yeah,
kind of member.
I want them to like all lean completely into like your 70, 80-year-old members who have got those little rubber tees that stick on one bit of rope so they can't lose it. That's what I want.
The ones the best one I've seen is like someone with a pink plastic tee. So pink plastic tee, string tied around it.
Yeah.
And then like a little weight.
Yeah.
So they don't lose pink plastic.
I love it. That's what I want on the senior tour.
Is that what you want to be when you grow older? You want to be that guy?
Well, you've spoken on a majority of times about you can't wait until you can get into your little senior golfer era.
I love it.
Where you can just fanoodle some little 200-yard fairway finders down there.
Honestly, I can't wait. Can't wait. Bag full of hybrids. only like 7 clubs though.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoulder bag. Dog, relatively flat links course to walk around, 6 pints of beer after.
Yeah.
Go home
and do that every day.
sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
Always like be that guy who always wins like the club championship.
Yeah.
And like people look over like that guy. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Because his handicap hasn't changed in 30 years because he doesn't put a card in.
I got a shoulder bag and I got to whip it. And I'm just every day at the course, a little Monty knee slide, elongating that hitting zone. Thanks for coming.
You've got like a high chair at the bar that when you go, you just sit at that and your whip it just sits down by your knees. And
My chair.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've got a chair at the bar where if other people sit in it, like the barman
There's
goes,
a
whoa,
fine.
hey, whoa, Pete's going to be in like 20 minutes. You don't want to catch you sitting there.
We had that at our cricket club where whoever was first team captain had a chair. So if you sat in the chair, it was a fine because if you weren't first team captain. So you can just have that. Have a little tip jar by your chair that people have to put money in, which will then pay for your pints. How does that sound?
I love that.
Yeah, are we already there?
I'm just going to just find something here. There's
Stirred back in your memory, is it?
Yeah. There's a pub in Lancaster, and there's an actor who used to go in there. I want to say it was Peter O'Toole, but I don't think it is. It's like a famous actor who always used to go in this pub in Lancaster, and you go into the toilet and you stand at a urinal. One of the urinals has like a leather headrest. Because this actor basically used to go in there, get
smashed,
get bevied up, always go to the toilet, relieve himself while just resting his head against the wall. So they put like a little pillow there so he could just rest his head. They went for a wee. Oh God, where was it? I can't. Oh God, it'll come back to me.
Yeah, I'm sure. If any of you guys watching or watching on YouTube have got any stories of old group members at your golf club, we'd love to know because I find that stuff so intriguing. Some people must have some characters around golf clubs. I'm sure. There's no one up in the north, is there, David? No Cumbrian folklore of golfers
Of what really, really old people play.
I don't know if there was some members at your club or something.
No, but like as you guys know, not that I mention it on a daily basis, but I used to do like a lot of caddying up at St Andrews.
Did you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the first I've heard of it.
You know, to the listeners now, that will be the first time they've heard it. So
That's very true.
That's true. And after seeing my caddying performance for Pete during Open qualifying, they'll be wondering where the hell those skills were.
hey, you were rusty. That's all you need.
That's what we'll go for.
We'll go rusty.
But yeah, there were some. I'm glad that I was able to help out with different golfers navigating the course. I just wish I could have done more for some of the swings that I
Yeah, I'm sure.
came across. There were some where I don't know how to describe it, but this elderly gentleman managed to make a full turn, but the club head at no point kind of went above his hips. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds like my dad.
Yeah.
I was going to say, bless your dad. He's playing some very good golf at the minute, but
Shanking at the moment.
oh really?
Yeah, got a phone call.
Got
Got the call.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, literally. I gotta say, you have to send me a video. I was like, I don't know. If anyone ever has the shanks,
It's not nice.
you should never try and diagnose over the phone. This is a kind of an in-person doctor appointment that you need.
So obviously talking about short swings, Patrick Harrington. Ryder Cup? Is it a, because there's obviously, I'm not saying this out of nowhere, like there's obviously talk about it. There's, I think even heading into the Open, there were people saying, oh, maybe if he puts in a good performance, I think people thought he would put in a good performance. Is it maybe just too much of it's a nice story and it's just kind of like a feel-good thing that people want to happen, but actually is it the right thing to do? That's kind of how I feel it might be. I don't think I would necessarily pick him. Do you guys think that he could make it? Do you think he should make it?
I think he needed a good showing in the Open. I think to be in the frame.
Even say if he finished top 10, has his season as a whole and has the way he's playing at the minute, do you genuinely think that he should be in the conversation?
I think he should be in the conversation.
Okay.
The problem we have, and this has been sparked really, I think, this particular point's been around for a while, but I think it's been sparked more because of live players not getting awarded world ranking points for their events. As soon as you go onto a Seniors Tour, Legends Tour, whatever you want to call it, you don't get world ranking points. Now, the level of competition now in this kind of area is really strong. Like it's really strong. Now, I'm not saying you should be awarded the same kind of ranking points as a PGA Tour event, which is obviously a better, deeper field. But there is a case to say that you should get something for competing against very good golfers around good courses. So, if there was some way that players playing the senior tour events could get points, I think that would maybe allow for a little bit more of that conversation. Because if Harrington went out and did a Langer and just won everything.
Did a Langer,
just went out and won absolutely everything he could play in.
Yeah.
He's obviously playing incredible golf, obviously deserves to be in contention, and is a golfer who absolutely still loves the game, still grinds, still practices, still hits it as far as like some of the players who will be on the team.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can realistically be put forward because his rankings don't stack up against anybody else because he's not getting any points.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. The only thing I would also say is this the Ryder Cup for him to come back for? Is this the course that he could do well round? I don't necessarily think that would be the case.
I don't know. I've got PTSD from this course.
Yeah, you've got. Yeah, well, hopefully soon there'll be a video coming out where you'll be able to relive Pete's memories of this course.
I think we're going to get the video out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it was wow. Brian Harman's going to have a good time there. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So moving on potentially then to what we think should be the team. If we just set it up initially, you set it up because I wasn't there, but what are we getting from Marco Simone? What is this type of course looking for? Who are the type of players that are going to do well around it?
Jeez. So for the last, I'd say, kind of couple of Ryder Cups, the different organising committees have gone along with a plan. They've said, okay, the US committee gone, right, our team is generally full of golfers who smash the ball a long way. So we're going to make our courses fairway and then a tiny bit of semi-rough.
Yeah.
So if we go offline, we can get it back into play and we can try and dominate on distance. Starting at Le Golf National, especially, the European committee have said, okay, so they want to smash it everywhere. What we're going to do is really tighten our courses up, make the rough thick, so it requires more accuracy. Mm-hmm. So, fine, okay. What they've done this year is taken that idea for Marco Simone, basically put it on steroids, fed it a few methamphetamines, and then let it loose.
Right, okay.
That is what you've got.
Right.
You have fairway, death.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all you're getting.
So
a little bit of semi.
I'm taking from that you're going to have to be pretty accurate off the tee.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Rough Cut Golf podcast would have a field day there. we're on natural environment.
Oh, yeah.
Around that golf course.
It's a speciality.
Are you saying then that this is a natural senior open fit?
Yeah.
So the one thing is it's not short. Like the tees we played it off, it was like 7.2, 7.3.
Right.
It's not a short course. Like they can lengthen it if they really want to. For me, it was just too hard when you hit it offline. So if you are a golfer that does spray it a little bit, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be fun.
Yeah. So that kind of, I mean, Padraig Harrington doesn't win as much as he has on the senior tour and do as well as he has in PGA Tour events this year without driving the ball well. But has been known or has done this season, sprayed it a little bit, which is just kind of to my point of, is it the time for him to come back? Maybe if Luke Donald thinks that's the case, then he'll go for it. I tell you what, Luke Donald do well around it in his pump.
He would. He'd absolutely love it. Right?
Yeah.
I think he may have set it up for his dream course.
Maybe pick himself.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Just comes out with one of his picks.
Has anyone done that?
Tiger did.
President's Cup.
Yeah. That's
But
true.
like he announced himself in the third person.
Yeah.
He said, "My final pick is Tiger Woods. He's been very good this year."
Give a full description of his run down.
Yeah, it was a bit of a
He's a
weird one.
plucky upcomer, but I think he'll do all right.
I mean, we've got I've actually got like the list up here. I think shall we give our teams, like, because we're going into the FedEx Cup playoffs now, PGA Tour, DP World Tour. A lot of the best players from that, they're going to be going over playing. PGA Tour as well. DP World Tour is still going along. Qualification is still available.
Yeah.
But a lot of the higher ranking players will try and get in the playoff events to obviously get into the FedEx Cup playoffs, get the money, all the rest of it. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a bit of a weird time as far as like qualification goes.
So I suppose, like, as of now, if we date it, this is Tuesday, the 1st of August, there is 6 places that are automatic in the Ryder Cup this year.
As if we're in August already, by the way.
I know, yeah.
What the hell has happened to this year?
Where is the year going? And
Terrifying.
It's never stopped. Anyway, so we've got 6 players currently in the automatic places. So European points-wise, it's Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm and Robert McIntyre, who made his way in with his second place finish in Scotland at the Scottish Open. Bless Yannick Paul, who's been sat there all year and now is clutching on. Actually, I think he's not done well the last couple of weeks. And then in the world points, we've got Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, and now Tommy Fleetwood, who is in the automatics. Which, obviously, as a big Tommy guy, like, I've been following him and watching him, how he's getting on with terms of Ryder Cup rankings. And you think of his year, only after the Open is he got into the automatics. Like that's now him finally in. Like, he wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's interesting really, because I mean, as far as like qualification goes for the European team, you get 3 from the world points list, which obviously encompasses PJ Tour, and then you get 3 from the European points list, which encompasses the DP World Tour, but also majors.
Yeah.
So if you have a good finish in the major, you obviously rank out really, really highly there.
This is the first year of our 6 player selection as well, isn't it? Because this was something the Americans were doing, which I remember going into last Ryder Cup. You had some guys like Lee Westwood who started the year so well, which got him in automatically, and then once we got round to Ryder Cup, his form was in the mud, so he didn't play very well.
Yeah. The idea, I think, is that Luke can make decisions based on form.
Massively, yeah. I think that's the people we might talk about now and name in our teams. Well, I'm sure for all of us potentially change if someone decides to win 3 of the last 4 weeks going into it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm a massive fan of it, really.
No?
Like, I know like captain's picks are a good thing at the end of like the whole process, but I'd actually like to see a lot more players qualify automatically. I think it gives more of an incentive. Like, your top 6 qualifiers for each team, are they really going to? I don't think most people will know who they're going to be.
Yeah.
So then it really just does come down to like a personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I from the outset and just looking at it as what it is, I quite like it, given the fact, as you say, you can pick on form. Like, you can get the guys in that are playing their best golf then and there, not people that play really well at the start of the year, get their points up, and then eventually fall into the team. You know, the thing with again, using Westwood as an example, was that he only sort of crept in at the bottom. You know, it wasn't the case of he was in the top 3 and got through on the world points. Like, I think he was about 7th or 8th in the qualifying. But because it was 9 players that got through and he got through automatically, then he was there and not playing great golf against guys that the Americans could pick, doing the 6 captain's picks, and make a team of guys that were playing really, really good golf.
Yeah, I think it's. I would say that like 12 months ago, also known as a year, if you'd said like who is going to win the Ryder Cup in Rome and who's going to be the favourites, the course is a leveler in some respects, but I don't think many people would have said the European team. I think most people would have been plumping for the US team. Now, at this moment in time, I think Europe might be going in as favourites.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, our automatic qualifiers this moment, like I said, of the European points list, we've got Rory, we've got Rahm, we've got McIntyre, who is coming into form.
Yeah.
I think everyone really expected a very big year off Rob.
Yeah.
Like, for him to really kick on. Didn't quite work out at the start of the year, but he's coming into a little bit of form. Obviously had a great finish at the Scottish. You got Jon Rahm and McIlroy, who were top of the world points as well, but obviously they're qualified through European. So you got Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood.
Which, as a 6 already, is very strong.
He's strong, yeah.
Very
I think
strong.
Tyrrell's one of those players this year who has been finishing so consistently in top 15s. Like, his golf's been really, really good. He's just not quite got over the line in those big events to win one yet.
He's kind of like, whenever I've watched him, he's either shot 8 under or 2 over. Like, he just has one or the. I don't think he's shot a 2 under round. He just has big days, both in good and bad fashion.
All we need. That's all we need for Ryder Cup. We just need big days.
Well, it's just as long as he turns up on the right day.
Good course for Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah.
Marco Simone.
Yeah.
Very good. Great course for Tommy Fleetwood.
Great course.
So let's say, okay, so David, let's start with you, mate. So if we say that right now the people who have qualified are qualified, okay?
Right, okay.
So we've got Rory, Rahm, McIntyre, Hovland, Hatton, Fleetwood. So those 6 are locked in, okay? So who would your 6 be? You are now Luke Donald, and the Ryder Cup committee have come to you and said, actually, we've changed our mind. 1st of August, pick your team.
Right, okay. It's a bit weird as well because like that, like talking about those picks as well. I think if I had free reign, if I had 12 picks, one of the guys in automatic qualifying wouldn't qualify for me. Like, I really think, I love Bobby McIntyre, but he feels like such a strange course fit for me.
But bear in mind, he has won at this course before.
So, like this, like under very different circumstances, like you've seen it, they've grown that rough up to like what you said was waist height.
It was literally chest high at one point.
Yeah.
Literally chest high.
So just looking at like how he performed in the Scottish Open, he obviously played very, very well, but that kind of, I don't know if erraticness is a word, but the inconsistency of the tee does kind of, but anyways, he is qualified automatically.
Yeah. So you leave Bobby alone.
Get off him.
Wow. God.
Hey, I'm just giving him like a pep talk. I'm giving him some tough love.
Tough
He,
love.
he does listen to the podcast, to be fair. So.
All right, there we go. Shane's not qualified automatically, has he?
Nope.
So after the way he played last time around, he's got to be automatically on there as well.
Okay. Because I want to write this down, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, no, okay. We'll get all different teams. So you're picking Shane.
Picking
Okay.
Shane, picking Adrian Maronk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Very consistent. Obviously, went around this course as well, the Italian Open.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it very easy for myself. People have been talking about the Højgaard brothers as the future of this team, and they've yet to play. So more in a transitional year, I think I'd bring them both along.
Wow.
Okay.
Both the Højgaards.
Both of them.
Okay.
Rasmus has had the better season overall, I think, but Nikolai's
Yeah.
trending at the moment. So
Rasmus won a Himmerland, didn't he, recently? And then I think he's further up in the rankings in the European points than Nicholas is.
is that right? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. I think
Rasmus is 17th.
I think the Rasmus is higher up than Nikolai in both points. So European points, he is. Where is he?
Who's this?
Rasmus. Oh, he's in eighth.
Yeah,
he's
and
in eighth.
Nikolai's actually quite a bit down.
Quite
I think.
a bit down. Yeah. So yeah,
okay.
I mean,
I wasn't expecting both.
I was going to say controversial choice.
I've been. It's one. As a twin myself, it's kind of one of those where people naturally just put you together as like a package.
Are you a Højgaard twin?
No.
Are you a secret Højgaard twin? No.
So I, with my inner twinness coming through, would be like, oh yeah, let's get both of them together because it's nice. Because I'd hate to be the one that misses out. But actually, I don't know if I could even really separate the two. They seem very similar. Nikolai hits it further. Rasmus has been playing the better golf as of late. But I agree, David. I think in a point, if you decide that this year is an opportunity to be like, look, all the old guard are gone. Let's bring in this new generation of European golfers to continue on who you're picking, I suppose, and as well in your decision of bringing in the new guard. Have you considered Aberg? Is that someone you thought about?
No, he is not even on my list.
Well, there you go.
There we go. So
He's very new.
I am scrambling to think of something to say, but no, I'm hoping that you've
like he's had a couple of good finishes.
This is it. Again, it's another. It's like a spicy take, I suppose. Not really, but a little bit of. He's the new guy on the block. He's exciting. He's European. He's done well on a PGA Tour event a few times. So people are considering it. I know Luke Donald played with him a couple of weeks ago in a PGA Tour event.
Right, okay.
And he made some comments about, I think he said something along the lines of he's only ever been immensely impressed or taken aback by someone in person as much as Aberg was Rory McIlroy. Like that, he's kind of given that kind of stamp of approval. So obviously people are jumping onto that thinking, well, if he thinks that much of him, then he's definitely in consideration.
Just to put it in perspective, he's 75th on the world points list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's not near on anything. Like that's probably a guy why you didn't necessarily pick him up, David, is that he's, you look down the list, he's not someone you see. But he's just obviously the way that he's been playing recently has put him into the picture, and he's a new. Everyone likes new shiny things, don't they? Like it's
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think he's very much he's had a good couple of finishes. He's obviously a good player.
Yeah.
But there's way too many people ahead of him on the list for me as well.
Okay.
So back in your box, David. Carry on. Okay.
But I guess that, like, the main thing how dare you? They always say that it's about your top 4, 5, 6 players, and that's where most of your points come from. So that's why I'm happy to get a bit more experimental further down.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've just realised that, like, we haven't said Fitzpatrick yet. I don't think.
No.
So, I mean, if we're talking about someone whose mentality is there, someone who rises to the big occasion, I'm going to go with a very, very safe pick.
Hey, I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's won a Ryder Cup point yet.
Is that right?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, terrible. Get him out.
So, I mean, he is going. I don't think that's in dispute.
I'd say he's a very different player than the last time he played Ryder Cup. Like his game is obviously still an amazing putter, but he's added probably like 30 yards.
He's a major winner since the last time he played.
Yeah.
So
major
I'll allow
player.
You'll allow it. Okay.
I'll allow it.
Okay, that's fine. I had like, the more I think about this, the more people that, like, I realise that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Justin Rose won't be making my team.
He's on my list.
Oh, you ditched Team Rose. You're out of Team Rose.
I know, but, like, hey, he's got to start that transitioning to, like, become like a captain soon. So
Well, you've only got one more, so
yeah,
choose wisely, I suppose.
Yeah, so I'll go for Alexander Bjork. He's had
Wow! I did not expect Bjork Dog to be switching in there.
He's had a low key, very good season. He's playing well at the moment.
Yeah, he's been hot recently.
Yeah, he hits it like gun barrel straight.
I love it.
How far down have you had to scroll to find him?
There he is.
He's 20th on the European points list.
Okay, so he's there or thereabouts. But I think I'm right in saying that he got somewhere in the top 10 during the last Italian Open as well.
Okay.
So I think, yes, he's a bit of an outside pick, but I think he would be like a really, really useful, like someone to play maybe 2 or 3 sessions, something like that. Like someone that you can fall back and rely on at a course like this. Yeah,
again, like as you say, these guys are, your Shanes, your Fitzes are probably going to play a little bit more this time round. But the guys you're picking, you're not asking them to play every session. It's guys you need in a singles and then maybe in a 4-ball in an afternoon. So, it's looking at guys like that, I suppose, who fit into that mold of guy that you don't need to necessarily hang your hat on to win a lot of points.
Okay. Right, so that's David's
team. Strong. So your 6 picks were Lowry, Moronk, both Højgaards, Rasmussen, Nicolai, Mats Fitzpatrick, and Bjork.
That's me. Is there any overlap with yours, Jacob?
Yes. So I've got Fitz, Moronk, Lowry.
Okay.
They're in.
Solid.
My one that I think is he's straight away in for me now is Straka.
Okay.
I think Straka's straight away. The way he's hitting it and how gun barrel straight he was hitting it at the Open. And he gets on when he can get on a burner.
He gets hot, yeah.
Gets really hot. Now, I only do have 4 names written down at the minute and a lot of other names written that I can't really pick from.
Oh my God, you've literally got a squad there.
Yeah,
You've got a Premier League 30-man squad. You can only take 6.
I've got my 23-man roster.
Start chopping.
So some of the guys that I've got down that I'm not taking Power. I'm not taking Harrington. I'm not taking Molinari. Only put him down because it's an Italian Ryder Cup. But, I'm not taking Dietrich. So I've got guys like the Højgaards, like Aberg, like Yannick Paul, who I'm kind of like, does he deserve to get there? And then Perez, Noren, and Justin Rose. And I think I will take Rose.
Okay.
Because just looking down that team, there's not that much experience. So I think a guy like that in there will be important to have. So I will go with Rose. And then this is where I'm falling into David's philosophy of just bringing someone along to
Bringing a random along.
for fun, yeah.
Okay.
No, just bringing in some youth to kind of to instill in that team and someone who you think might be on a Ryder Cup side. And I've only got one left, so I can't bring both Højgaard, so I'm going to have to upset the mum and dad are going to be disappointed and have to look after one for the week. So saying that, I'm going to take Aberg.
Taking Aberg, wow. A big shout out to Mr. Højgaard Senior, by the way, who I met at the Open. Watch his videos, very cool.
How does he?
Yeah. No, I told you this.
No.
He came up to me on the range. Pilot, big guy, shook my hand. Like, oh my god, hello.
Saying that, if I was going to pick one, it would be Rasmus.
No, you've left him off the plane, mate. You've literally just said you're not taking him.
I'm saying, if not both can go, no go, none go. I don't want to upset anyone.
Wow, going deep on this.
Upset both.
I would say I think you've both made some interesting picks, both completely wrong in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Right.
But I think I've actually got those 6. I think I'd go definitely Sepp Straka.
Okay.
I would go Matt Fitzpatrick hasn't been playing amazing golf.
No.
But he's currently 6th on the kind of world points list. I think he probably deserves to go. Like he's a world class quality player.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who could definitely turn it around. So go Straka, go Fitzpatrick. I think Shane Lowry, the way he played, he has to be there as well.
Yep.
Yannick Paul, get him on the plane.
Okay.
Like we're talking about one of the most consistent European golfers all year.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you can make arguments about DP World Tour maybe not being as strong as the PGA Tour, but he's been playing really good golf.
Yeah. No, I like the pick.
Are you the only one of the three of us that has picked him?
Yeah.
Even though he's probably spent more time in those spots than
anyone.
The fact that you two have not picked him, I would say, is a personal insult to Yannick Paul. If you ever watch this, we apologise. I would go Adrian Moronk as well. Again, very consistent player. And he's also won at this course. Now, if my math's correct, that leaves me with one more player.
Yes, it is. Do you pick Moronk if he's not won here?
I think so, because like his performances in European Tour events, if he hasn't won there, he's probably finished top 5.
Yeah, okay.
He's just always up there.
He's been very strong on the DP World Tour. Very strong.
I'm gonna do one of those like those real kind of golf media things as well. Just imagine what it'll do for golf in Poland.
That is so true.
Oh, every time somebody wins from a country that's not renowned for producing golf, just imagine what it'll do.
Yeah.
Just imagine what it'll do for the golf in Poland. So that gives me one more player. Should I pick someone completely random?
I mean, I just assumed you were going to pick Noren, to be honest.
I thought you were going to pick Checker.
So yeah,
He's hot.
So
just to interrupt you. Just Rosner as well.
Yeah,
he's been very good this year. Great finish in the Open. No, with someone we haven't spoken about.
I mean, I'm kind of like along the lines of let's get more European kind of DP World players in there.
Okay,
just so it gives a little bit more incentive, I think, for some players to play those events for a start.
Yeah.
So
I brushed over Victor Perez. He's 7th.
Because you hate Victor Perez. It's absolutely fine.
No hate here.
For me, it is basically between Victor Perez and Rasmus.
Okay.
I would say let's go Rasmus.
Okay.
Let's go Rasmus.
Yeah.
Let's get the young blood in there.
Yeah, I like that.
To be fair, I've never, like, we've gone to quite a few places and seen quite a few pros play now. I've never seen other pros react in such a way as like the guys who were watching Rasmus play. Like the noise that
impressive, isn't
it made when it left the club face.
Not that it's a question that's asked very much, but when people say to me like, who is the most impressive or incredible golfer that you've watched and played with, even at the time when we filmed with Rasmus, he was very, very much up and coming. But I've never heard anyone strike the ball as well as he had.
Yeah, it was. So we played was it 3-4 hole vlog? But it was basically me.
No, it was. Oh no, you did do that, but we also did another video with him. It was the 20 ball challenge, which is the one that because he just kept continuing hitting shots. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, the one that kind of stands out for me is the little match we filmed. It was me, Hatton, Jordan Smith,
yeah, and Rasmus.
It was just us four.
Yeah, four.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was someone else.
No, there was.
Guido was there.
But
he left earlier, didn't he? Yeah. So it was us four that went out, and there was the second hole we played. It was like a par 4 up the hill. It was like 250, I think. We all hit fairway wood, strike up around the green. Then Rasmus hit this 3-iron, like a draw, whipped it up the hill. The sound it made was unreal, and it doesn't happen very often. But me, Jordan, Tyrrell all looked at each other and were like, "Oh,
Yeah, wow,
whoa, like that. That's very good."
and
I'm pretty sure Tyrrell started laughing at one point.
It
It was like that ludicrous.
I can't remember. I'm sure he was like 18 as well at the time.
Yeah, young.
So
It was very, very impressive. So yeah, just because of that one shot.
Yeah. We should also say Nikolai was not there.
yeah,
He wasn't there. It often happens with the Højgaard twins as well. I don't know the exact kind of timeline on it, but if Rasmus wins,
one comes and
Nikolai usually wins pretty close after.
yeah,
Right,
or
okay.
at least does very well the next week.
Yeah, and he was up in contention at the Open, Nikolai.
Yes, yeah, he was. Yeah,
Just kind of got blown away a little bit.
He got through in the Scottish, didn't he? Because he wasn't through automatically, and Rasmus was and got through for the Himmerlands. So it was like his brothers got through, so I need to now do it as well, which is actually like plays to your point of like, oh well, he's won one, now I need to go and win another one. So maybe you're right picking both of them because then if one wins, then the next one.
If you line them up in the singles, and he sees that his brother's gone one up, it's like, well, I'll go one up as well.
Yeah.
So those are our victorious European teams. They're going to win whatever happens.
Yeah.
But
Comment which one you think is better.
let's have a look at what's happening to Team USA. So already qualified is Scotty Scheffler.
And I know it doesn't say there, but Wyndham is in.
Wyndham Clark.
He is in.
So Scotty Scheffler fully in there. World number 1. But
You snigger it out.
honestly, it still baffles me what is going on with Scotty Scheffler. He's world number 1. He physically can't finish usually outside the top 5, but he can't putt. Now, going into a Ryder Cup, putting, call me crazy, I believe is quite important.
Yeah.
And if you were watching Scotty stand there with a 3-foot putt, you just wouldn't give him anything at the moment.
We were saying this, like, whoever plays him in the singles or anything on the first tee, you're just like, Scotty, don't ask.
Don't ask. Finish everything.
You're
please.
not getting anything.
Yeah, you're getting nothing. And listen, he's an incredible golfer, and he will sort this out. And when he does, he'll win 8 times a year.
Yeah.
But for now, he's automatically qualified, and he's not putting well. Don't write him off, obviously, but
Probably helps at that course, to be fair.
maybe. So Scotty Scheffler is automatically in. Wyndham Clark is automatically in. I wouldn't say it's a Wyndham Clark kind of golf course, but he actually really surprised me at Royal Liverpool as well.
Striking the ball wide.
Yeah, he hits it incredible.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love his swing. So those two are automatically in. And then you got Brian Harman. Obviously he's open win, but he's been playing pretty well as well. Brooks Koepka. Controversial.
Okay. Is that the only live guy?
Yeah. Because obviously they can't get any points otherwise.
Yeah.
So unless they get a captain's perks.
I think the fact that Kieran's not here is quite interesting because that's the first time I listen to this podcast a lot. The first time that you've said Brooks Koepka.
Thanks.
as your brand manager.
Thank you.
First time you've said Brooks Koepka's name that's not been followed by a, he's playing well.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
To be honest, I did pause there because I was expecting
Waiting for someone
Yeah.
to jump in, yeah.
Brooks Koepka, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantley. So again, those 6 we're saying they're locked.
Okay.
They're locked in. Okay.
So who are some of the guys that are on the outskirts?
So you got. I just want to say though again, like the European first 6 versus the US first 6. Like I think we stack up really well there.
Yeah.
Anyway, in contention we have. This is kind of going after this. So you got Max Homa in 7th, Cameron Young, Jordan Spieth, Keegan Bradley, Colin Morikawa, Ricky Fowler. And then on the outskirts, you got Burns, Thomas, McCarthy, Kitayama, Zalatoris, who obviously won't be there, Harris English, Tony Finau, Chris Kirk, Thigala, and then it goes down. So, who wants to start us off here?
It's not the list of players that the American side would have thought was going to be turning up, or at least in the qualifications anyway.
I honestly, I'm like, the more and more I look at this, the more confident I feel about a European victory.
It seems, or it feels like there's still someone missing, like who's, I don't know, it's sort of a...
where is Luke List?
There are so many players on this that you would have said 2 years ago are absolutely locked. Tony Finau is 19th in the rankings right now. You got Justin Thomas, who's in 14th, but he's not playing well at all. Zalatoris won't be there because of injury.
It's the live effect, isn't it? I guess, like, you've got guys like Dustin Johnson, who
Gone.
Yeah. Gone.
Hit me with another one.
I don't know. Harold Varner.
Gone.
Taylor Gooch.
Gone. Taylor Gooch actually would have been.
He
would have been a shout.
He would have been.
He's had
Could get picked though.
He's had a really good year.
I think DJ's had a bad season though.
Yeah.
It's.
I'm not sure if, like, playing that, like, regardless of what tour, I'm not sure if he would have been a pick.
Yeah, you've obviously got.
Gooch is probably the only one on the live tour that would probably get picked.
You got Patrick Reed just because of historic performances, you'd say. But it's tricky because if you're Zach Johnson, you are probably not going to be picking any live players.
No,
probably. That may have changed a little bit now, obviously, with all the announcements that have been coming out about the mergers, or not mergers, sorry. All the news has been coming out about the not mergers. So maybe we'll have a little bit more leeway who he picks, but I don't get the vibe that he's going to pick any live players unless they qualify automatically. And Brooks is the only person who will be doing that, you would have thought. However, as they run up into the playoffs, the points that get awarded for Ryder Cup qualification actually increase as well.
Right, okay.
So there is a chance
things can change.
Yeah, there's a chance he might drop out for automatic, and then Zach will be left in an awkward situation because you can't really not pick Brooks.
That's true.
The year he's had, you can't not pick him in the majors for the major performances because that's all he's there on. He's literally fourth in the Ryder Cup list through his major performances.
Stuff, yes.
So that shows how good he's been in those events. If he drops out of the top six, that'll be interesting. But for now, he's locked in. So who wants to start us off?
I can give it a go.
Hit me.
I think, again, I think this is maybe harder than picking the Europeans. Now, obviously, I have affiliation to the European side, given that I am European. But I think, to start with, I think I wouldn't go too far away from those guys on the edge. I'd go Homer. I'd go Spieth. I'd go Fowler. I think outside, Fowler's probably the guy who's playing the best golf of those lot.
He's trending, isn't he? The best.
Yeah. Next, the guys that I've not. I think I would go Cam Young. I think he played well in the Open. I know he fell away a little bit, but
Dave was just about to lose his mind.
I'm very excited that I get to talk about him now.
Yeah. So that's 4. The guys that you kind of would be looking at now that be shocks of missing out is obviously like Justin Thomas, Tony Finau. Not necessarily a shock, but to be worth note that Harris English played last time round. He's not there. Colin Morikawa. And then it's like Sam Burns, people like that. But he's had a funny year. Like, he's not played great.
Very up and down, yeah.
Very up and down. So I'm not massively set on him. So I think what I'll probably do is just go with tried and tested anyway. And I'd go Morikawa. He's still very young, but he can have a great week. He played okay the other week, but it's not. I don't love it. I'm not enamored by it. I'm not feeling bad for Zach Johnson right now. And I know it's probably very rogue. I think I will go JT just for that.
Wow.
Just for that experience, that Spieth Thomas combination that every captain loves. And I think he'll turn it up. The only guy that I actually was genuinely considering there was actually Denny McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a good year.
He's had a great year, and he's another guy that will find fairways.
Yeah.
He is tiny, by the way.
I think course-wise, and this has always been the argument about like recent Ryder Cup selections, is how much you should factor in the type of golfer that you're picking in relation to the course that you're playing.
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes again. Let's say Brian Harman didn't win the Open and like played okay for the rest of the year. He's a perfect fit for this course.
Yeah. Would he?
He wouldn't have been a fashionable pick.
Yeah.
So
Should have gone McCarthy.
yeah, go McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm doing it. I'm getting rid of Thomas. Get McCarthy.
Thomas out, McCarthy in.
Still think you'll pick Thomas though.
Yeah, probably. David.
Yeah, I'm not going to be picking JT this time around. I have a lot of time for him, but
Bless you.
I think unless if we get a situation like ahead of Le Golf National, can you remember? I think they said to Sergio, like, you're on the team, take some time away and fix yourself.
Yeah.
Essentially, unless if you get that type of situation with JT. And of course, he'll have been spending all season trying to fix himself, so it's obviously not going to be a quick fix. But having said that, a lot of the names that I've got down here, I mean, like Spieth with his record, I know that this is maybe not a Spieth course, but with kind of Ricky coming back in, I quite like the look of that partnership. I think Morikawa's kind of automatic. I know that he's kind of been a bit up and down, but he's definitely had flashes of, form. And I think this is, again, a very good course fit for him. Young, because he's amazing. He's fabulous.
Still the angriest man and
so
proudest
angry
man in golf. But
yeah, got to see a lot of him at the Open. But I think if he played it in a Gary Woodland type way and just took like irons off the tee, and just kind of managed to control him. I don't know who you'd pair him with, but if he managed to control himself, he'd be. I could picture him being really good. And Homer, obviously. So I get one more pick on top of that. I don't like anyone.
I don't like anything
at all, and Luke List's not been playing well enough for me to consider. So I'm going to go really rogue. I'm going to put Zach Johnson, player captain.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
David, you've lost your marbles, mate.
Wow.
What has just happened there?
wow.
Well, if we're looking at course fits, and we're looking at someone for the big occasion, 2-time major champion at the Old Course St Andrews and at Augusta National, so he can cope with that kind of pressure. A Ryder Cupper himself, he's.
I'm just
keep scrolling. We'll find him eventually.
78th currently in the ranking.
Look, that is probably about half of Tiger Woods' ranking. So, I mean, I could have gone a lot lower down and found someone else.
Very true.
But yeah, like, this literally comes down to I appreciate that this person probably isn't going to play at all because I'm not happy with anyone else. So if it's just going to be one person to play in the singles, imagine having Zach Johnson leading you out on the final day.
Wow. Putting himself out first as well.
Yeah. I like Zach Johnson versus Rory McIlroy. I'd love to see that.
Love it.
And I'll be completely honest. I don't really feel like he's playing significantly worse than any of these other guys that are kind of getting through more from like maybe how they were doing like a year ago.
And historic Ryder Cup performances.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, love it. Love the randomness. I might throw someone random in there as well. Okay, so we've got obviously those first 6. So Scheffler, Clark, Harman, Koepka, Schauffele, Cantlay. I'm going to go Homer and Young. I think it is a very Max Homer course. And it'd just be great to see in kind of like a Ryder Cup as well. Cameron Young, I would have to point this out to everybody. From seeing him up close and personal, he is not the angriest golfer in the world. He just doesn't give anything away. It is like looking at a moving wall. No emotion. Nothing. He'll see something every now and again. He'll just like let this little smile creep into the corner of his mouth and then just snaps it away.
Yeah.
It's like he can't be seen to show any emotion at all. It's quite incredible.
It's quite something, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to see him just because I want to see him hole, hopefully in an unimportant match, but hole like a 30-footer across the green to win. and just see if he celebrates.
Yeah.
Just see if anything happens. See if he cracks his veneer.
This is like the highest point of emotion that he could probably purvey on a golf course. Like, if he doesn't find anything interesting here, then he is genuinely...
Honestly.
He's got nothing.
We'll see. So Homer and Young. I'm gonna go for Taylor Gooch.
Okay.
Just to throw a bit of controversy in there, but also like he genuinely, when we're talking about golfers for the States who are playing well, who have been playing well and having good years, he is one of those players.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Like we can talk about the legitimacy of like Live and if it's as competitive as PGA Tour, which it probably isn't, but you can only win the events that you're in.
Yeah.
And he has been winning a lot.
Play good golf.
So he's been playing well. I'll go Keegan Bradley.
Okay.
As well. He's a form golfer. He's playing decent and he's won recently. And if you're looking at someone who wouldn't shy away from a Ryder Cup challenge, he's not a bad choice. Like and this is the thing, why the back end of the US team now, it's kind of like, well, who are you going to take? Like, who's it going to be?
Yeah.
So that's 4.
Yeah, it is.
I've got 2 more to take. I'm going to go Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
Because he's trending.
Yeah. I think he deserves to be there anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
A winner once again.
Winner once again.
So I've got a choice now, realistically, between Spieth, Morikawa, Burns, Thomas, and look at these names you would expect to be there.
And Zach Johnson. Can I just ask before you pick that? Do we know where Kevin Kisner is? Like has he fallen off? Is he fallen off a cliff form-wise?
I actually don't think he's playing golf anymore.
Because I remember there was a lot of shout from like the online golf community for him to be picked ahead of Le Golf National.
Yeah, he's dropped off.
He was just a animal at the WGC match play, wasn't he? Like, he loves match play. Yeah.
Well, this is probably why I'm edging towards Burns, because obviously he's won it this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So that's probably why I'd edge towards Burns. But Spieth, Morikawa, Burns, Thomas, and Michael Block. Like who am I going to pick? Well, that's the question. I would go. I can't quite believe I'm gonna not maybe take Spieth. It seems so weird, doesn't it? Like
it seems absurd, but such the way that this year's American team has played out. It's
if you need to hit a fairway, he's probably not the person you go.
But he's a great Ryder Cup player. You know what? No, I'm going to take Spieth.
Okay.
I'm going to take Spieth. I'm not going to take Burns, even though it breaks my little heart.
Okay. Well, I think that's 3 different types of teams there, 3 different sets of players that have been selected. I think the guy that none of us have picked that maybe we thought would be there is Finau. No one's even considered. He was doing all right at the 3M Open this last week, but yeah, who knows? In the next like couple of weeks, he might go on a burner and then just become an automatic pick, and we don't even consider it.
A Billy Horschel style run.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's apart from that, like Kitayama, who's 10th or whatever it was in their standings, or 16th. Sorry. Like again, played great at the start of the year. Now hasn't been seen anywhere. So it's it's guys like that you just don't even really consider.
What I'd say is probably like out of those 2 selections there, the European team, we're looking at those players and going, right, who is playing the best out of them? And the US selection on the bottom half saying like who is the least worst at the moment. That's kind of what it feels like. Maybe we're a little bit kind of European,
a little bit biased,
a little bit biased, but that is genuinely kind of how it seems at the moment.
Yeah,
it's like you've got a whole host of headaches for the US with who's not playing well, and then a whole host of headaches for the European teams, but it's who is playing well.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, I think.
I know it sounds kind of slightly strange, but yeah, that's kind of how it feels. So those are our European picks. Make sure you let us know what you think about them. Show us your teams on social media as well. Why not? A few other kind of points to round up as well. I just want to say big congratulations to Wes Bryan for qualifying for the Wyndham Championship as well. Very interesting story. So he had to go through Monday qualifying to get in the Wyndham Championship, but also there was George Bryan. So we play with George, know him, really great guy, great player. Him and Wes very, very similar as far as ability-wise goes. Obviously, Wes went on to get on the PGA Tour, won an event as well, got injured, kind of dropped out. They've got a golf course together now as well, which we will get over to once it's all up and running at Celine. So they both got through to a 6-man playoff for 3 spots to get into the Wyndham Championship. Wes got through, George missed out, which is devastating. It would have been so great.
It would have been awesome, wouldn't it? So good. Unfortunately, they didn't play together in the qualifier, which would have been quite nice. But then maybe for both of them, that was better. But I think I saw them tweet out asking, like, I think Wes sent a tweet out saying, like, can you put us 2 together, please? Which would have been quite nice. I saw a couple of, like, his Instagram stories, and George had a putt on the last to get to 6 under, like a longish putt, and he left it, I don't know, like 2 foot short. And the way he's like filming it and like rotates the camera and starts shouting down to the green, like, "Oh, what are you doing, John?" And it was like, this is a major competition for these guys. You know, it's a Monday qualifier, and he's like filming it on his phone like it's nothing. But that would have been quite the. I mean, it's quite the story as it is anyway. But like that would have been amazing for George, who I now know is going in to do his school stuff, and talk about like a confidence boost. I think like I could be doing this. Yeah, so
he's a great player, George. I remember when I played with him at St Anne's Old Links. Yeah, well, you filming that?
Yeah.
Playing with St Anne's Old Links, both kind of challenges are up. Played front 9, back 9. I beat him around the front 9.
Yeah,
and I think, you know what, which basically means I could be playing in the Wyndham Championship if I really want. I'd be like, you know what, I'm playing all right. And then George just like slightly changed something in his swing for like the back 9, and he just absolutely battered me.
Yeah,
didn't miss a shot. I was like, whoa, that's like what just happened. It was just a very slight change in his alignment. He was just swinging it so well, so great, just really good ball striker.
It's good to watch, isn't it?
Really good. So hopefully he can get it together and get through Q School, which is always a brutal week. Yeah. Never mind if it's DP World Tour or PGA Tour. Also had the women's major at the Evian.
Yeah.
Celine Boutier.
Yeah, winning in her home country, which is lovely to see. And she's now up to 4th in the world, which I think now makes her the only European in the top 10, which in a Ryder Cup themed episode, obviously Solheim Cup coming up the week before. I'm sure we'll touch on that as we get a bit closer to the time. Nice to see that there's some European competition up there now, which is looking at those top 10 standings. It's so heavily dominated by like the Asian, I was going to say market, but really the Asian players in the women's game. Nelly Corda now back up to number 1 in the world as well. She had a great finish at the Evian, but it's just nice to see some European players at the top and winning competitions as well. What about Celine Boutier, David? Do you want to talk us through this victory?
I have a lot of time for Celine. Like, she won by 6. Sorry, just checking my notes. Like, she won by 6, I think. I think she went 3 under through the first 5 holes to win by like such a margin that like it was comfortable for her. But the reason that like I have so much time for it is I used to run like another YouTube channel for Golfing World. And I used to have a lot of in-depth interviews with different athletes. And she talked about her struggles with mental health. And she was playing for, I don't really follow college sport, but she was playing for Duke.
Okay.
And as a collegiate golfer, she couldn't break 80 because her mental game was shot. She had panic attacks over the ball.
Relatable.
Yeah. I think I see that. But the fact that she had to like come back from that, I think help of a psychiatrist or a therapist to come all the way back to, I think, I'm not sure what she did at the last Solheim Cup, but in her first Solheim Cup, she went like 4-0. And now she's winning like major championships by 6 strokes. It just shows that like, even if you're going through like a terrible time mentally or in terms of form, you can bring it back. So yeah, well done, Celine.
Absolutely.
David, we're not used to this level of like seriousness on the podcast.
Sorry.
Okay. We're going to have to lighten this up a little bit.
All right. She's got a lovely swing.
Swings it great.
Swings it great.
Swings it great. Well, we were kind of fortunate enough to cover the Moonlight Classic in Dubai a few years ago, and it was Celine and Minjee Lee in the playoff. And we I don't know how, we had passes, but we literally walked behind them in the playoff, filming everything. It was like, I'm not sure we're meant to be here, but we got away with it. And both both of them were just swinging it so great. And it's so nice. I was like, yeah, very, very impressive. But we are going to be going to the Solheim Cup. We've got to go Solheim and Ryder Cup actually this year.
Yeah.
I think me and you, Jacob, are going Solheim.
Yes, we are, yeah.
And me and you, David, are going to the Ryder Cup.
Hell yeah.
Where we will not see Zach Johnson play, which is a disappointment, but you never know. So we will report back from both of those, probably do a podcast on there. Apart from that, the only thing we've really been doing this week, we've not really done a lot of filming, but
No, it's
doing a lot of preparation.
a lot of build-up. I know we've been chatting on for a little bit now, but I suppose we've kind of got to end today's episode with you explaining / telling us what is happening on Saturday or starting on Saturday.
Yeah, sounds so excited about it. To be honest, I'm very much looking forward to this, but I'm worn out by the booking systems of online hotel providers over the last 2 days has been the literal bane of my life. So we're doing a Fairway Down. It's a challenge that we've come up with. We're playing the most northerly golf course in the UK and then the most southerly. 20 days, cycling down the country, playing 10 different courses, 1,000 miles and me.
Yeah, that is it. It's
The title of my new album.
yeah, it's all laid out in front of you. You know exactly what you've got to do, and you've got to cycle a very, very long way.
Yeah, to be honest, one of the reasons I was saying, like, worried about my impending doom at the start of this podcast. So one really dark place where I wouldn't recommend you going is cycling forums.
Okay.
So so basically, I'm planning out the route, and in the UK, there's a challenge called John O'Groats to Land's End or Land's End to John O'Groats. It's either Le Jog or Joggle for short, and we're doing Joggle. So the route that we're taking kind of snakes a little bit off course, so we can play the golf courses that we want to. So what I've been doing is like going through the process of really kind of looking into the roads and all the routes to try and figure out the best way.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of patches of road that I'm looking at and I'm like, I'm not sure that's a great place to cycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is in like quality of the road or like...
Are we talking motorways?
So
Oh, right.
So basically, you're allowed to cycle on any road which isn't a motorway. So any road which begins with A,
Yeah.
you can cycle on. Anything that begins with M, you can't. And obviously B roads. So on there. So I'm going through the route that's been planned out for ages. Obviously, it's impractical that we can like drive it or go through it. Like this year, we've just not had the time. So I've been Google mapping everything, getting all the cycle routes, fine. There's a couple of roads in Scotland where I'm like, is it safe to cycle on the A9, for example?
Right.
Which is the main kind of road going up past Inverness to kind of Thurso and to John O'Groats where we need to go. The answer we got back was no. pretty resolutely no. And it was like, okay, so it's like, okay, so is it safe to cycle? Well, first of all, can you cycle it? Yes, you can. Is it safe? Not really. And then it was like, there is a cycle path, however,
Okay.
next to the A9 for large proportions.
Okay.
The cycle lane isn't great, apparently.
That doesn't sound...
It's not ideal. And there's certain patches of the A9 that you cannot get away from cycling.
Right.
So
okay.
you have to be on that
You have to be
road.
on it. Okay.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, fine. That's understandable. I kind of rerouted the route a couple of times to get a few better kind of safer spots.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, okay, so it's unavoidable. We'll just do those parts of the road really early in the morning when there's less cars. And this is the far north of Scotland. There's nobody there anyway.
There's nothing.
Apart from cyclists, fingers crossed. So I was like, okay, so got the rest of the route. And then there's one other dodgy place. So the A82. Okay, A82. I was like, can you cycle on the A82? Because this is going through Glencoe. So we want to go through there so we can get all the surrounding.
Yeah.
The first comment was like, obviously, no.
Do not.
You will die.
Oh.
Not that's not what he said, but it's kind of, he said, do not go on the A82. And then the next comment was, yeah, the A9 was better. So I've just gone on like the A9, it says, do not go on, this is too dangerous. And then someone saying, yeah, that road is actually better than the A82. So I was like, right.
Okay.
But then literally scroll down and there's a guy, I don't know what you call them. It's like those bikes that fold up.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
And they were saying, oh, you know, there are a lot of cars on there, but me and my friend did it last year and it was fine. And they did it on those.
Right. So
it's kind of
there
like...
might be some drama queens out there.
Yeah, potentially. This is what I mean. Like the cycling forums are seemingly full of very negative people. And as I'm about to embark on this journey, don't need that negativity in my life.
No.
I need people to say, there's a few cars, but you know what? You'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of understand, not as a cyclist, but I can relate to what they might be thinking as a driver and knowing how people drive around cyclists. That might be quite...
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm aware. So our legs...
Maybe their negativity comes from somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it comes from a good place. Our journey in Scotland, just to warn you, Jacob, because you're with us for that first stint, we're going to be having a lot of early mornings.
I will not be there.
You will. We've only got one van. So it's either that or you stay in John O'Groats.
There's worse places you could be stranded.
Oh, I think when it gets to winter, you might be thinking otherwise.
Okay.
So yeah, that's going to be my life.
How early are we talking?
We're riding at like 6.
Okay.
As soon as the sun comes up.
Sounds good.
I've got some bright lights on that bike. Like they will see me coming.
It'll be bright at that point.
I will be a miniature sun moving down that road with what I've got.
You'll be driving along, where's Pete? That's like, Sean comes around the corner.
I'm going to be that bright. You'll be like, where's the sun?
Yeah.
I'll be like, wow, that is incredible. It's like a comet moving down that road.
Is the plan for you guys to be driving behind Pete the whole way?
Yeah, he's going to hang on.
Insert, yeah. I've got a big rope to kind of hook onto the handlebars. No, for a lot of points, like the guys are going to be driving, getting some shots from the van, but also like driving ahead. So as I go past, they've got shots. Obviously, got the drone to get some more dramatic.
It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's like so different to anything that we've done, anything that I've done, like in terms of like videoing and editing. Like it's a very different style and different way of doing things. So like I'm really looking forward to it. I think I speak for Mick and Kieran as well, who are coming along. Like they're really excited for it. Excited and apprehensive for you. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I'm bricking myself. But absolutely pooping.
I'm thinking once I see you day one, once that day's complete, and I think I'll start to feel a little bit more comfortable.
To be honest, like the only problem is with Scotland as well is there's so few roads like where you want to be.
Yeah, so you just have to go.
I go through the Highlands because everything's so mountainous. Like there's only so many roads that you can go along, and that's everybody. So from cyclists to trucks to vans, cars, everything, they all need to go along these roads. So we need to time it right. We need to be careful, but I'm sure it'll be fine. As soon as we get south of the border, there's A and B roads everywhere. Do whatever we want. Cycle anywhere.
Do what you want.
The only advantage we got really up in Scotland as well, and this is through the cycling networks, the deep dark cycling networks. This time of year, there should be a lot of people also doing John O'Groats to Land's End.
Right, so you get some buddies to...
So hopefully I can attach myself onto the back of a peloton.
Get dragged along.
and they're going slow enough that I can follow.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, because the nightmare is, and this is the problem that I've been listening to, reading about, should I say, is there's certain points on the road where you've got inclines that are quite steep. If you hit one of those inclines on an A road... and you're trying to get up there, maximum you're going to be moving is 6 to 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then you've got a lorry behind you that's wanting to get past.
Yeah.
It can get a bit twitchy.
Yeah, I can understand that.
This is why I want to kind of get out there early. So if I do see someone coming, I can just pull over and just let them pass.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, look, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. If you want to follow along, socials is going to be the best place to do it. There's going to be a lot of YouTube content as well. We're going to be churning the videos out, so it's going to be a good time. We're going to enjoy it.
I'm assuming no podcasts.
Well, I was just going to say that. So I think so.
While you're on the bike,
of course, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take the podcast on the road. We'll do whatever. It might be a mix and match of who's on one week and who's on the other, but we'll get Pete involved and we'll get everyone involved, and maybe just tell you how Pete's getting on and how everything else is coming along. But I think as a whole, the whole thing's going to be awesome. So follow along. Make sure to send Pete some support as well, because I'm sure you would look. I'd love to see all the comments flooding in for what's going on. And if you want to come along, the dates of where we're going to be playing at some golf courses will be made available, if not already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to release everything from Wednesday.
Okay.
Which is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, so
Tomorrow.
We're going to basically be putting everything out, the route, where you can meet us, because we've got the concept that we've got as well is I'm going up there without any clubs. So what I want to do is build a bag of clubs as we move down the country. So by the time we get to the final course down at Mullion, I've got this amazing set of clubs that I can take on a very, very good opponent, and then afterwards auction it all off. All the money being raised to go to British Heart Foundation as well. So
yeah,
it's going to be a great trip. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. It's obviously something new. The training's been going okay. My legs are like tree trunks. They're good to go.
Sounds good.
They're pumped. Right, just want to say big thank you for listening. David, thank you for sitting in as
Thanks
well.
for having me.
Thank you, David.
You've actually been a really, really good guest.
He says with shock.
Okay, thank you.
No, I'm just like contemplating,
Is there more space around the table?
I'm just thinking,
who are we getting rid of?
Maybe we ditch.
Should we just flick a coin and see which one?
Shall I just message? I'll message Kieran now.
You're done.
So yeah, David wants your space. He's elbowed his way in. He's claimed the corner. He's claimed the side.
Toggle world out here.
Yeah, listen.
Next man up.
Take a few weeks off. You're out of here.
You go.
So thank you very much, David. Jacob, obviously, thank you as always. Thank you, everybody, for listening. So we will go away. We will prepare for the adventure of a lifetime. And we will speak to you probably from Monday the 7th from near Dornoch.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So there's that. Cool. Right, guys. See you soon.
See you.
Bye.